Well, this is Don Milne. I'm doing a recording today to show how our editors can edit and save USS Arizona Mall Memorial stories. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to request a story from Jackie Manasco. You will need a couple of things ahead of time. You'll need a Together We Serve membership, and ideally you'll also want to have a newspapers.com access. If you don't have access to either of those, please contact me and I will get those set up for you. Jackie will also be sending you our database info for that particular name, so you can cross-check the basic facts in your role as an editor. As far as the actual editing, what you want to do is you want to take this information from our database, compare it to the Arizona Mall Memorial story, and make sure that there is agreement. If there's anything missing or something that you can add that you found as you're doing a little more research, make those adjustments to the story as needed. Sometimes you will notice that there's no photo. Just because there wasn't a photo found by the Arizona Mall Memorial Project doesn't mean there isn't one. So it's a good idea to check for yourself also to see if you can find one. Together We Serve, obviously, if there's one there already, you don't have to look farther. Find a Grave is often a good source. Honor States, newspapers.com, as I mentioned before, even a Google image search, especially if the person has a very uncommon last name, may pull up a photo. So if you find, once you've added this photo to the edited version of the story, if you notice that it's of poor quality, go ahead and send a copy of that to Linda Simpson at that email address, and she will get it enhanced and sent back to you so we have a better quality photo to use. Now, if you do get a new photo, make sure you save it to the Together We Serve profile, but also email a copy back to Bobby Jo. She's the individual who was doing these stories for the USS Mall Memorial project, USS Arizona Mall Memorial project. And also let Jackie know so she can update our database to reflect that there is a photo now. Then as far as saving the stories Together We Serve, if there's already an existing profile, that's great. That's less for you to do. That's more likely to be the case if on most of the Arizona stories. Next, less likely would be that there isn't one there, in which case you have to set up a new profile for this remembered veteran. The other things you'll do as far as adding your edited copy is you're going to add a USS Arizona paragraph, a common paragraph that we have on all our USS Arizona stories. We're also going to add at the end, this story was originally created for the USS Arizona Mall Memorial Project at the University of Arizona. And then on the very last section of the service history is where we add our Stories Behind the Stars logo. After you do that, you'll also see on there that there's a section for a chapter. And we're going to set up a chapter for the Arizona Mall Memorial. Now, as of this recording, that drop-down menu isn't showing that yet, but I've been told it's going to happen within a week. So if you're not seeing that yet, make a note to come back and add that if you can. At this point, you want to report back any changes. If you've noted anything material, such as dates, names, location, things are looking different from what you found versus what Bobby Jo found, please get in contact with her in case she needs to make some changes, or maybe she's got more details that would indicate that what she has may be more accurate than what we found. If the story is complete, then email either Allison or Kobe, whoever you normally work with. If you haven't worked with either one of those before, go ahead and just pick one. These are the other two directors that are helping Jackie with our Pearl Harbor project story. So that's the way to do it. I'm going to share another page here to maybe go over some more details on this. So here is a sample of a story that the USS Arizona Mall Memorial did. And the part we would copy over is this top part here. This is fairly short. And most of them are going to be longer than this. And about 20% of the time, they're going to have some details that you're not going to be able to find, or our writers wouldn't be able to find, because Bobby Jo traveled to 20 different states. She interviewed family members sometimes. She found documentation in local libraries, etc., that haven't been digitized. So we're so grateful that she's able to provide us with that. In this case, this wasn't what happened, and there's very little information here. So this gives you a chance as an editor to maybe see, just double check, that's what editors do, to see if there's other information that could be added. But anyway, this is the information we copy over. Here in this section here, I'm showing you this was the information I got from our Pearl Harbor database that Jackie is taking care of. And notice that there's a service number right here. I highlighted it in red so it stands out. That wasn't in the original story, so I'm going to add that in as part of the edited version. Down here I've just added some editor notes. So I'm going to add that this person is interred at the USS Arizona Memorial, because if you read the story as it exists right now, it says there's a marker in his memory at this cemetery in Barry, Kentucky, but it doesn't mention where his remains are, and they're on the USS Arizona. It just so happens in this case, he has 4 different sites where he's remembered. Arlington National Cemetery has a cenotaph. The Honolulu Memorial there in the Punch Bowl has him on the Tablet of the Missing. And then the cenotaph that was mentioned that's in Kentucky, and also where he's at is at the USS Arizona Memorial. So those are some more details that an editor could include in this story. So I would add about the cenotaph at the Arlington National Cemetery, since that's our premier cemetery, to know that he's being remembered there. I would add, this not in this obviously, is our USS Arizona Common Paragraph. And then again, I mentioned about this attribution that this came from the USS Arizona Mall Memorial. Here's a couple other things that I found while I was editing this. I went first to the Together We Serve to see if there was already a profile, and as I mentioned, most of the time there will be. There was one for Purdy Bedford. In fact, there's already a photo, so I wouldn't have to do the part about looking for more photos. Here's the USS Arizona Common Paragraph that I would copy over with the references. This is a little bit different than what it was originally. If you started back in early July doing some USS Arizona stories, we've updated this a little bit, so you'd want to use this newer version. And this is the attribution that we want to add to indicate where this came from. And I showed you this already about how he's got a number of different locations where he's being remembered. So I also, before I saw he already had a photo on Together We Serve, I copied over a photo from I found on Find a Grave, and we mentioned that you need to, you don't need to, but if you think the photo quality could be enhanced, you can contact Linda Simpson by sending her a copy. Just some details on when that doesn't work is, here's a photo that's mostly not just his face, and so the photo enhancing works only if you have the area that wants to be enhanced at least 300 pixels by 300 pixels. So that would not work as an enhancement, just by the way. But you may come across some photos that have been copies of copies of copies, and an enhancing would be nice to have. I also went to newspapers when I was doing research to see if there's anything that could be added. Bobby Joe also had this as a resource, but not every newspaper article may have been available and digitized when she did each story. She's been doing this for almost 5 years. So in this case, the first one had basically information that she already found, and the second one had a little bit of information that was extra, but I determined that it wasn't relevant to the story, so I would not have included that to put in here. So that's what's involved. Because Bobby Joe's done so much of the work ahead of time, it does take less time than starting from scratch, but it does require a little bit of editing work, obviously, which you have to kind of verify a few things here or there, because you do want these to be as strong as they can be and as accurate as they can be. And our whole goal is we're thinking it's going to happen that this December 7th, anyone going to the USS Arizona Memorial will be able to read these stories, the ones that Bobby Joe wrote and the ones you edited, and it'll make for a much more enriching experience. So we thank you so much for helping with this editing project. If you have any questions, as always, email Dawn at storiesbehindthestars.org. Thank you.